There are a lot of things going on that everybody tends to just put up with. And I'm thinking, why? Why are we putting up with some of these things? I'm going to talk about 3 things today that just don't sit well with me anymore. The first one is this notion that we just always have to be reachable. We are inundated with text messages, phone calls, messages coming through social media, all kinds of notifications just coming at us all the time. But it gets worse than that. It's not just an annoyance. What about these spam calls that just won't stop? Remember the do not call list? It came about in 2003, I want to say. And of course, lots of us signed up for the do not call list. I sign up every year. And yet, the number of spam calls and junk calls and telemarketing calls that we get continues to increase every day. Now, before you say, well, just don't answer the phone. Why are you answering the phone if it's not a number that you recognize? Well, for a lot of people, if you're an independent contractor, for example, you have to answer your phone. You never know when it's going to be a client. So it's not as simple for most of us to just don't answer the phone if you don't know who it is, especially since these people, these spammers, have come to spoof phone calls and make it look like it's somebody you know. Have you noticed that? You'll get a call that has like the same prefix as your own phone number or the same area code as someone out of state that you do talk to regularly. It's crazy what they can do now. So the do not call registry, well, guess who adheres to that? The scrupulous businesses. So the only ones that you might actually want to talk to are the ones that will pay attention to the do not call list. So why do people get by with calling people on the do not call list? Well, in my opinion, it's because we simply haven't made it a big enough priority to stop this practice. It just seems to me like if we spent, and I mean we, the collective we, government, etc., businesses, spent as much time, a fraction of the time that we spend on a lot of other issues that really don't matter, in my opinion, we could put a stop to some of these things. So when I say jurisdictional issues, the reason I understand that it's not an easy fix for the legislature or anything like that is these calls are largely coming from overseas, and they change up their numbers. You can't find them. But if you think about the things that we've done, the things that our country has accomplished, good and bad, the power that we have, pretty sure we could take care of that if we made it a priority. One of the things I find so egregious about these spam calls, and there are many, is that you ever get those ones where they hang up? You answer the phone and then there's no one there, and then they hang up on you. Well, when you answer that phone, you basically told them that you are a valid working number. So then they can take that number and sell it as a lead. That's a valid lead for some poor suspecting soul that's buying leads for prospecting. Because the phone got answered, that means there's a human on the other end. I literally got a call a couple of weeks ago, and it said on the caller ID of my phone, hospital. Somehow these scammers had set up their phones to be able to say hospital. Well, I've been in contact with the hospitals a lot lately. So, of course, they figured that out by, I don't know, how they track my phone or whatever, and called me with hospital. Of course, who wouldn't answer the phone that says hospital? I mean, y'all, we just go about our day and put up with this, and I don't understand why. The second thing I want to talk about is just what has happened to our sales and customer service situations. Sales is nothing but pressure anymore, whereas it seems like they used to be kind of looking out for our best interests. I don't know. There's always been unscrupulous salespeople. But nowadays, they've been taught to enter your objections. What are the objections? Well, I don't want my objections answered. If I say I'm not interested, please don't come back with, well, I see here that you did buy a house several years ago. Are you not interested because you like where you're living, or is it because of some other reason, financial or otherwise? I said I'm not interested. That's all you need to know. Cell phone sales tend to be the worst. I mean, do you ever really know what you're buying when you go to sign up for a new cell phone plan? They explain it to you and you think you get it, but then you get the bill and you see all these things that you didn't realize you were paying for. And it's not because we're not smart or we didn't catch it. It's because they're designed that way to confuse you and get you to sign up for things that you may not want or need. Another customer service issue is this notion of self-service. Now, believe me, I love self-service. I love being able to handle my business without having to talk to somebody. I know it's terrible, but it's true. But sometimes you need a person, and now you can't get a person. In so many cases, no matter how hard you try. You'll be on hold waiting for a person to help you with something, and all they do is keep telling you over and over how you can go to the website and take care of this. Well, you can't go to the website and take care of this. We've already tried that. We're not idiots. And then there's self-service at the grocery store. The self-checkout lines. For some reason, there's always self-checkout lines available. There'll be like 14 self-checkout registers available and one person manning a real checkout line. Well, that's all real well and good as long as you only have 12 items in your cart and they're all easily scannable. But what if you have something weird that you need to ask about? Well, then you can go over there and stand in line in the one register that's open for about 20 minutes. Sometimes you're buying an item that has a special coupon attached to it that only a real human can make sure you get credit for. Or you're buying a bottle of wine, an age-restricted item. So now you have to wait, punch the button for a real human to come over. Everybody's looking at you like, why are you holding up the line, old lady? I think we all agree now that self-checkouts are normal, and sometimes that works out just fine. Then there are those moments when you walk up with something a little unusual, and you just know this is not going to go well at the self-checkout.
That's a lot of beans.
And now you're standing there feeling like you're half cashier and half suspect, looking around for the one person who's responsible for all 20 self-checkout machines. And all you really needed was a human being for about 10 seconds. And heaven forbid you need to ask a question of a real store clerk. Now, if you can find one, then you get to ask the question. But chances are they're not going to have been trained on answering the question. Because why? I don't know. All I know is that it doesn't sit well with me anymore. I'm tired of putting up with it. Number 3 is something that has started to affect me more and more every day, every year. And that is we are treated differently as we get older. And one of those that really bugs me is with regard to technology. We were there when all this technology started. It was our generations, mine and older, younger, that ushered this in. The web-based world, the Wi-Fi world, software, computer conversions. We built it on our backs. And so I don't understand why there's so much of an assumption that we're slow with it. I take a look at the analytics on who's watching my videos. We've migrated to YouTube. We've migrated to sophisticated streaming actions other than just cable TV. Don't sell yourself short on technology. You know more than you think. Often it's not what's being said, it's how it's being said. It's as if the conversation has already been simplified for us, when I didn't ask for that. And sometimes it seems like we're just kind of skipped over. In certain kinds of lines, at the concessions, at a football game, at a concert, they just tend to wait on the young, strapping guy with the girlfriend before they get to us. I don't know. Is that just me? Am I imagining this? So yeah, I've sat here and I've vented with you a little bit about 3 major things going on in our lives that we just kind of take in stride. And it's not just our generation. Everybody's doing it. Why have we accepted poor customer service to be the norm now? Why are we accepting the fact that our days are interrupted with spam calls over and over? And why are we accepting ageism? Yes, there, I've said it. It's a nasty word. And it's one that all of us, if we live long enough, will experience. So why is it so pervasive? Anyway, what's something that you've noticed that we just take for granted and accept that we shouldn't, that maybe we ought to be taking a stand against? Leave that for me in the comments. I would love to hear about it. And in the meantime, maybe we ought to think about ways that we can band together and stop some of this madness. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me.